Don't push me. Take your hands off of me unless you plan to arrest me.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
With the 1st Marine Division in South Vietnam.
CBS News has gained unprecedented access here from in front of the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin, Germany.
Kuwait City.
Dan Rather reporting. Good night.
The OAO, the one and only Dan Rather. At 90 years of age, he can still teach me more about this job in 5 minutes than I've learned in 15 years. And now he's got 2.7 million Twitter followers. If anyone thought he slowed down, they're wrong. Dan Rather joins us right now. Thank you so much, Big Brother, for being on the show, especially on this first night.
Well, Chris, thank you very much for having me, and I do wish you good luck and Godspeed with your new program.
Thank you. 2.7 million Twitter followers. Is that you writing all those tweets?
Naturally, I have help, Chris, but I can say truthfully that nothing goes on the internet that I haven't been intimately involved with. But yes, I write the tweets, and yes, I write Steady, which is a newsletter we do 3 times a week. It's full-time work, and I have a collaborator, Elliot Kirchner, and together we do everything that's out there. I can tell you that nobody is more amazed that I would have that many Twitter followers or that many people subscribing to a newsletter than I am. That as you will remember, I surprise easily, but I have been really pleasantly surprised by that and very thankful for it.
You throw a lot of punches on Twitter. There are opinionated things, there are pointed things, there's some snarky things. You were never really like that on air. Is that intentional, and does it reflect different feelings now than you used to have?
Well, I don't think it reflects any different opinions, Chris. It's certainly, journalism has changed greatly, but what hasn't changed? I've been a working journalist for more than 70 years. That's 70 years. So what hasn't changed in more than 70 years? But, on social media, what I've found is you better write something that's interesting, or people are not going to care. On the other hand, you don't want to get so caught up in writing something interesting that you don't write something that matters. And I can just say that in the same way I've grown as a person and grown in some of my opinions about things, that pretty much I'm still the same Dan Rather I was when I first went to work at CBS News way back in 1962.
Well, you still got a great head of hair and you got a great voice. Give some perspective to my new audience here, Dan. Where do you think things stand in terms of the dialogue in this country and the risks that we currently face?
Well, first of all, we need to understand, I think we do understand, that this is a serious and dangerous moment in the American story. However, if we stop and take a deep breath, we also know that this country's been through a hell of a lot in the past. The Great Civil War in the middle of the 19th century, the 1960s when we had all those assassinations and a great war that split the country apart. That it's not in the American character to be fearful. And, to try to answer your question directly, I think that one of the things that's bothering me and bothers some people is that we lack unity. We're at our best when we are united. After the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in 1941, we pulled ourselves together. After we were attacked on 9/11, we pulled ourselves together. That we know how to play team. We know how to be united. And that we tend to forget in the rush of daily journalism and headlines and worry about what's happening this second and the next second. What a tremendous country this is. This is still a very good country. There's a lot of beauty and goodness in this country. And I don't want to come on like some, preacher or something, but we need to remember that. And the struggle at the moment is to hold the country together. And we've had these moments before, but this is one of those moments where we're not as united as we need to be. And the world is perilous out there. Look at what's happening in Russia, Iran, China. I mean, there's danger everywhere. So we need to be more united, and we need to take a more moderate approach. We'll get down to a definition of the word moderate, but a more moderate approach to how we view one another. Just because we disagree with somebody else doesn't mean that first of all, it doesn't mean necessarily that they're wrong. And secondly, it doesn't mean that we can't get together with them for the good of the country. But the essential danger right now, the core of it, and the reason that people are worried or so much, and I would include myself in this, is that the very foundation of our constitutional republic, based on the principles of freedom and democracy, are being challenged.
Yes, sir.
That our institutions have suffered great damage, our traditional ways, our understanding about one another. So we need more unity and more moderation in dealing with one another, and if we don't get it, go ahead.
That's a good way to end it. Dan Rather, I appreciate you very much. You once told me that journalism is an act of faith in the future. And I think that we're all going to try to do our part to make sure we can get to a better place. And I appreciate you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thank you, Chris. Good luck. Godspeed.
All right.